Yesterday, I spoke to one of my mentorship students, Leighton, who has just bought a £50,000 car with the profits that he's made from Amazon FBA. So Leighton had barely even heard of Amazon FBA before he saw me posting my own results on social media. And he quickly decided that it was a business model that he wanted to get involved in. And he wanted to do that just to escape from his 9-to-5. And fast forward to 12 months later, his life has been completely transformed by his business, as he's now making about £2,000 in profit every single month, and he's just purchased his dream car with some of those profits. In this video, we're going to be talking through Leighton's journey all the way to scaling up that Amazon FBA business. We're going to discuss the key lessons that he has learned along the way and get him to share his best advice for brand new Amazon FBA sellers. So let's get into it. So Leighton reached out to me on social media probably about a year ago now, saying that he had an interest in starting Amazon FBA as a side hustle alongside his 9-to-5, and he signed up shortly after to the mentorship program. And honestly, since the day he signed up, I knew that Leighton would do well in the program because he's so on the case. He's always been in my DMs, messaging me, kind of checking up on things, trying to learn as much as possible in the shortest amount of time possible. And yeah, it's been really impressive to see him grow his Amazon business. When he first signed up, he was just working the 9-to-5 at-home bargains, earning kind of like an average wage, but in just a short amount of time, I mean, literally within the first 6 months, he managed to scale up Amazon to making him about the same as his kind of current 9-to-5, about $2,000 a month or so, which was super impressive to scale that quick, such a short space of time. But saying that though, you know, many mentorship students have done it. As long as you're willing to put in as much effort as you possibly can afford to put in at the start, you know, those first 6 months are so crucial when building a new business. You're guaranteed going to have success. It's all about just kind of the amount of time and effort you put in. And if you're willing to kind of go above and beyond, you'll do great. And what's really impressive as well is Amazon isn't just kind of numbers on the screen for Leighton. He's actually managed to buy his dream car, an Audi S3, which is super, super impressive. And actually Leighton only lives about like an hour's drive from my house. And I usually do these kind of things over Zoom with clients, so I'm doing kind of these success stories. But I figured there's no better way to do today than to just drive out, see Leighton, and see the man himself, the beautiful car as well. And yeah, go for a little test drive. All right, Leighton, well, firstly, thank you for coming to kind of see me today.
No problem.
Tell me about the car. I mean, it is awesome. We've driven around in it a little bit so far. It's loud, it's quick, it's everything you could kind of want out of something like this.
Yeah, definitely. So I've always had Audis from my first car. I've had an A3, I've had 2 A3s. I had a Fiesta as well. But this is like sort of the dream car I was sort of pushing for. Within budget, obviously there's nicer cars, there's faster cars, but definitely I think this is what I've been wanting, and especially with Amazon, it just let me push for it more than I could have with just a 9-to-5, you know. It's very juicy on fuel. I probably do £100 a week in fuel. So I can afford that because of Amazon. But it's a great car, it's quick, loud, I love it, it looks cool.
Tell me, man, how much did this beautiful whip set you back?
So it was $13,500, but
yeah.
I've paid it outright. Obviously not the most expensive car in the world, but obviously with the running costs and stuff, it does.
You want to say, you don't want to go too overboard.
Obviously I'm only 22, so I can't really get insured on anything.
I was going to say, like, insurance is
it was
ridiculous.
$2,000 for the year. It's not that bad.
Is it in your name?
It's in my name, yeah. It's in no family on the insurance or anything like that. But yeah, I think within reason, this is definitely like one of the nicest cars I probably could have got within the budget.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. Do you think you could have got it without doing Amazon?
I wouldn't be able to afford to run it. Just 9-to-5 wouldn't cover it. Like £400 a month on fuel.
£400 a month?
Yeah.
Oh, that's like
I don't even really drive that much. I could slow it down, but I'd get like 15 miles to the gallon. It's horrible. Yeah, it's great. I mean, I can't wait to take you for a little drive properly.
Yeah. Take on a motorway and stay under the speed limit for Leo.
The dash will be turned off. The dash will be off.
I can't wait, man. It's awesome. Last question before we hop on the car and go on a little drive. How cool does it feel to drive around in it?
It is great. It's loud. Some people hate it, some people don't. I haven't done anything to it myself. I brought it with everything on it. But it's great. I mean, I love it. I love cars. I wish I could get, you know, an RS6 or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, small baby steps, you know. For now, this is definitely
one day.
the car of
Yeah, the first time I saw it, I actually didn't even realise that it was your car. It just happened to be in the same town as
It looks very similar. We'll pull a picture up. So I had 2 Audis. I had my old Audi and this one. They look the same.
Yeah.
The engine is different.
Like, you hear it before you even see it coming. Like, the rumble of the engine is like...
It's nice. It's
awesome.
It's very nice.
That is noisy.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, yeah, back in February when I last interviewed you, you're doing about 1,500 quid in profit per month. So how much has that changed since in like the last like 5 months or so?
I'm probably averaging around 2,000 right now. I mean, I've definitely had months where I'm, you know, getting like 3,000-4,000 profit. But obviously with me still working my 9 to 5, it's sort of like, whenever I have the time to really put the effort in.
Yeah.
Obviously Amazon's a thing where the more effort you put in, the more you get out.
Yeah.
But I'd say it averages around 2,000. Wasn't really the projection I was going for, but I've sort of just kept doing what I was doing. You know, I've got a thing that works. I'm happy with the hours I put in. I'm happy with the money I'm making. I don't really see a need to push, you know, push.
Yeah.
I'm happy with where I'm at. Obviously, I do want to get it to a point where I do Amazon full time. It's just sort of finding the time and the spare capital to quit. Obviously, with Amazon being, you know, to make it your full-time job, you do need more money than just if you were doing it as like a side hustle. But yeah, 2,500 a month, I'd say profit is what I'm clocking right now.
Yeah, it's nothing to scoff at all.
On top of a full-time job.
Yeah, it's all a full-time job. That's good, man. That puts you way ahead of anyone that's just doing the 9 to 5 and nothing else.
Yeah, 100%. I'm
especially
probably on
putting in minimal effort.
Yeah, I'm probably on like a mid, you know, budget job, maybe 45, 50k a year, I'd say I'm doing, like with both the jobs combined.
Not bad.
And you know, for doing not that many hours extra,
yeah,
it's great. I love it. I definitely love it.
I mean, I always say like Amazon is just it's a game of how much dedication and how much capital you put in, but you can kind of put in as little work or as little money as you can kind of, you know, you want to be putting in. Your results will kind of, you know, echo that really.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, with some of the stuff I buy, like obviously if people are starting out with less money, you know, there's been deals I've brought where I make, you know, £400-500 off, you know, 1,500 to 2,000.
Yeah.
If you could do that once a month, it's, you know, that's, you know, £400 or £500 extra in your pocket.
Yeah,
on top of your
pays
job.
all your bills.
Pays some of the bills, you know. If people, you know, people don't have the money to invest full time, you can sort of just go for it as a side hustle. That's definitely what I'm doing. I don't really want to do it full time just yet. I just want to be confident. I want to make sure I have it done. There's obviously a lot of costs when you start getting up there with it being a full-time job, accountant fees, things like that. You got to think about a lot of stuff before you do it full time.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense.
I probably could, but I wouldn't be able to do it to a point where I can live comfortably and do Amazon as a full-time job, which is why I still keep my 9 to 5. But there's obviously always stuff to work towards.
You'll get there, man. I'll help you get there. I'll force you to get there if I have to.
We'll get there eventually, you know.
So tell me, what are some of the key benefits of kind of doing Amazon FBA alongside a 9 to 5 at the beginning?
Definitely flexibility. Obviously, like I said in the previous question, having it as a full-time job is like a big deal. Whereas having it as a side hustle, you can sort of, if there is ever times where, you know, you haven't got the time, you don't have to worry about it. It's just extra money. There's not really anything to be worrying about in a sense. So yeah, definitely the flexibility. You can put as many or as little hours in as you want, and then you still got your main job to fall back on without really having to worry about, you know, whether you're going to get paid or not. You know, Amazon payouts can take 6 weeks, you know.
Yeah, it's definitely longer.
Yeah, it's definitely a longer time. You know, you got to wait for the stock to sell, then you got to wait for Amazon to pay you out. Obviously, they do have a good pay now system, like you can request your funds, but you still have to wait for it to clear.
Yeah.
So, you know,
the fastest I've ever been paid is like maybe like 2.5 weeks.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is still quite a long time.
A long time. So you just got to think about it in that sense. You know, if you're not having regular income come from Amazon, having a job as well is just sort of essential, really. I mean, I think most people start out of it as a side hustle, as I'm sure.
I always suggest people, like, even if you're making like 10k a month off Amazon, if you can afford the time-wise to do your 9 to 5 still, just stick with it. I mean, it gives you more capital to put into Amazon, gives you that kind of like security of, you know, you can still pay your rent off your 9 to 5, and yeah, it's good, and helps you keep kind of reinvesting that money rather than just kind of having to spend it on kind of daily stuff.
Definitely. The way I look at it is it's more like a savings account for me. Like every bit of money I put into Amazon, I reinvest.
Yeah.
And when I'm looking at the profit I'm making, like you're not going to get that on any savings account. You're not going to get that on any sort of investments unless you're like super lucky. Like I don't know any savings accounts where you're making, you know, £400 or £500 per couple of thousand you put in. It's just not happening at all. And that's at like a lower end profit. You know, some sellers like yourself are doing 35-40% ROI on some deals. I go for the, you know, 20% deals with higher cost. That's just me. But obviously there are people out there smashing 40%. Which you're just not getting on any savings account ever.
So you mentioned just now that you'd go for kind of the lower ROI but higher ticket items, which was actually my kind of strategy when I first started out with Amazon. It was just so easy to spend a bunch of money on just high ticket items that kind of made you just straight profit, really. And I know you mentioned when I last interviewed you that I think your best seller was something that was like £250 profit per unit.
Yeah.
So have you managed to beat that since? Have you done anything? Have you found anything better?
Yeah, so I still do tech, a lot of you know, tech stuff, which I still do, and I had a £405 profit, I want to say. It was a very expensive item. It was still around the 20, I think it was like 22% ROI. I have to try and find the sale. But 400 profit on one sale it's nuts, you know.
One single item.
You could order one item, send it off, and £400 in your pocket. It's crazy.
I remember always saying to you when you like told me during the mentorship kind of stuff about you focusing on those sort of items, and it just makes so much sense for someone that just doesn't want to spend a lot of time doing Amazon, because it just means it's so easy. Just within like a couple of days, you can spend all your money on those kind of deals.
Yeah, that's
then
sort
just
of
wait
strategy.
a month or so, and then
the strategy. Just spend as much as I can on high like cost stuff.
Yeah.
Obviously, on the lower things, you can get way higher ROI, and obviously, as a business, that's probably what you want to be doing, just focus purely on ROI.
Yeah.
But for me, I like ease of time. You know, I'm young, I go out, you know, I get drunk, I drive my car.
Yeah.
You know, I like having the flexibility of freedom of time and, you know, making money, which is purely why I do this business strategy. Obviously, everyone has their own business strategies. You know, you yourself smash out whatever items you can, like as long as it's above 30% sort of. Whereas me, you know, I don't mind a lower, even like 15% sometimes. Not ideal, but if it's getting my money spent and it's getting money in my pocket, I don't really care, to be honest. You know, obviously some people do it differently, like yourself. You wouldn't really buy anything under 20. But you know, when you're a smaller seller or a starter seller, getting your capital up is the main thing. You don't really, like, at least for me, I'm focusing on just building my capital. You can focus on business strategies later on.
It's exactly what I've done this year. I mean, I've transitioned more now towards like the higher ROI stuff, but you know, at the start it was just the easiest thing to do, so yeah, why not?
Yeah, definitely easiest thing for me, which is why I run with it. Obviously everyone's going to have their own take, they're going to have their own things they like buying, they're going to have their own things they're knowledgeable about, you know. It's just how the business works. You want to get yourself out there and know as much about it as you can, which is what I've tried doing. You know, I know talking through people, you get suppliers, you get websites that probably other people don't know about, which is like the main thing really for Amazon.
So I think it's been about a year now since you started. So what advice do you have for new sellers starting Amazon or who are thinking about starting Amazon?
Just don't overdo it. I mean, I'm sure everyone's guilty of it at least once, but when you're just starting out, don't go too heavy. You know, there's being confident and then there's just being stupid. I'm sure we've all done it. I've gone way too deep on deals, you know, thinking, you know, I'm confident on it and just, you know, I've missed out something in the data, or it's just not a product really that sells well and you buy it at the wrong time. You know, once you start to get the knowledge and you can know what products do well, that comes with time. I feel like there's a lot of things starting out, people want to just jump in and get as much as they can, which is great. You know, you've got to have that enthusiasm about it, but actually learning the business and what does well is what makes you successful, really. You know, finding a toy, you know, when you don't know much about toys, you know, it could be shit and you don't know about it. The data might look okay. There's, you know, there's plenty of...
Best to go wide and not deep when you're first starting out. So if there are any mistakes, you're at least not making a massive loss on them. But if you end up buying like too much when you don't actually know what you're doing, is not the best idea.
I'm trying to think of a good way to word it. I just think, you know, knowledge about products is a general thing, you know, like I go for tech because I know what tech things sell well, you know. You start knowing what sort of laptops people like, what spec laptops people like, you know, hard drives, you know what ones sell faster based on like the storage, you know, there's heatsink versus non-heatsink, things like that can really affect price.
Yeah.
You know, I made a mistake. I ordered a non-heatsink model of a hard drive, thinking they'd sell as well as the ones without, but they just didn't.
Yeah.
You know, the data looked all good, had like 20 of them, and they just didn't sell. So I just think, yeah, just take it slow. Don't over hop into anything if you're not confident.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And just network, really. As soon as you can, start networking, you know, with people that are new. Try and find people experienced, like Felix. I feel like most people are happy to help. Obviously, I'm sure you get some people that won't, but just for general advice on, you know, reading graphs, things like that is probably the most important thing when you're first starting out. Is just knowing and being confident in the data. That's pretty much what makes a good Amazon seller, in my opinion, is being able to read the graphs. And then after that, it all just comes down to how much effort you put in and how well you can network with people.
Well said. It's all about just graphs and yeah, putting in some
graphs and good websites. That's pretty much all there is to Amazon. Graphs and, you know, putting in the effort to actually find new websites, which is another thing I was going to say. Having a list of websites, and just every time you find a website, you know, you can reverse search, you know, look up websites that are similar, go on Trustpilot, look at like related businesses and things like that. Just building up as many possible websites to source from as you can is definitely a good place to start. 'Cause I feel like a lot of people when they first start out just don't know where to look. You know, you got to find them. That's the game.
Google's your best friend.
Yeah, exactly.
So you started Amazon and straight away kind of went into my mentorship program where I was able to kind of show you the ropes and whatever. And I really did know straight away. I can always tell fairly early on when people join up if they're going to be successful or end up kind of just quitting after a little bit of time. Because you were so active booking the one-to-one calls, on the group sessions, kind of making use of every single resource you had available to you. So like, do you think you would have had the success that you've had without kind of doing the mentorship program?
Nah, definitely not. I mean, it goes to say with anything, you know, you can't just box a boxing bag and expect to become a boxer, you know?
Yeah.
You need, you know, in my opinion, you need someone to teach you. I mean, it's definitely doable on your own. You can do anything by yourself, you know, there's people out there that teach themselves many things, but, you know, having someone there definitely, I mean, what really is there not to want about someone who makes, you know, I'm sure everyone's seen Felix's numbers. He literally is doing it. You know, he has the proof, you know, he teaches you everything he knows. What else can you really say about it? I think having someone teach you that knows the business and knows what they're doing is just, yeah, I wouldn't have been able to get here nowhere near as quick, you know. Hours and hours and hours of watching YouTube videos where you could probably get the same amount out of 1 hour call with Felix, you know.
Yeah, my stuff's definitely not on YouTube. Let me say that.
Exactly.
At least not the good stuff.
That's what I'm saying. Like, even learning the basics takes quite a while, and it's fast tracked so much more with everything Felix like teaches you. And obviously, you can ask him any question you have. You know, if there's something you're struggling with, rather than having to Google it, get 10 different answers, you can ask someone who's doing the business and they say, yeah, this is how you do it. Even small things, customer returns, you know, if you're ever having issues with Amazon, you know, you need to contact them about anything you don't know what to say. You know, there's loads of little things about the business that people don't really know about, and obviously Felix has helped me a lot with that. You know, admin, things like that, if I've ever had any questions, even simple things like what spreadsheets to use, you know. You can sit there and listen to 10 YouTube videos, everyone telling you a different spreadsheet, and you don't really know what to go with. Whereas Felix has it in front of you, he can show you on Discord, he can tell you like, you know, you can go with this one, this is what I use, you know, this is what software I use. It's so much easier than sitting there questioning yourself on whether or not, you know, you're doing the right thing, if you're doing it the right way, because you're getting all the information of someone who is very successful.
Glad to be of service.
yeah. So I mean, like I said, you can't really fault it at all. You know, I've had great success. You know, I had no idea anything about Amazon, and you know, I sort of jumped to making 1,000 a month within, you know, the first 2 months really. And I don't think I would have even been making £200 a month without Felix's help. Just the secret sauce methods really on how to source, you know, is what pushed me to be able to make what I'm making. It's where my business strategy come from, it's where I found all the products I sell now. And you know, I don't think I'd get that at all without the mentorship program, to be honest.
Well, quick interview break for on a private road, of course. Can't even keep the camera straight. Ooh. Fucking hell. It's awesome, man. So I think we said in our last interview back in February, or you said that your goal was 100k sales for the year. So you're nearly there, aren't you?
I am near. I'm at, I think, 84,000.
Yeah.
The dreaded VAT registered stage, unfortunately.
Yeah, coming up.
But we've got a way around it, so we're lucky on that front. But I definitely think I'll be 100k, you know, Q4 coming up.
Come October, mate, we're going to be laughing in terms of kind of amount of sales and profit we'll be making.
I'm hoping for 110k revenue, to be honest. I think I'll be able to get there, especially with Q4.
I think it's definitely, if you're already on like 884, yeah, you know, with a few months, I mean, it's only July, you got all this stuff.
Exactly.
You're guaranteed pretty much. I mean, yeah,
I'd say I'm guaranteed 110k.
Yeah.
So I'm just being modest. You know, I don't want to set too high expectations, but
just keep your foot on the throttle, not in the car, but well, not right now before we're coming up to this junction, but keep on in the business, and yeah, I'm sure you'll smash it. Awesome. So it's been great to chat to you today, Leighton. It's been amazing seeing this beautiful car with the kind of starlit roof. We're getting flashbacks to the Rolls-Royce video 5 months ago. Definitely, if you haven't seen that, click up here. I think it will be up there, hopefully, to watch that Rolls-Royce video, because one of the highest budget videos we've done on this channel, but well worth a watch. We're chatting with Leighton, as well as Alex from All Things Prep. So go check that out if you haven't already. And yeah, thanks for coming to meet me, and yeah, hopefully we'll be back on this channel sometime soon, and I wish you the best of luck with kind of continuing to grow your Amazon business.
thank you very much.
So that was a great conversation with Leighton, who I'm sure that you'll agree is going to continue to change his life with Amazon FBA. So as he discussed throughout this video, none of this would have been possible if he hadn't invested in a high quality mentorship program from day one of his Amazon journey. The secret sauce of methods that I share with my mentorship students have taken Leighton's business from nothing to a £1,500 a month side hustle, and even further, all the way to now a thriving business making 2 to 2.5 grand a month over the last year. So on top of the secret sourcing techniques that my mentorship program provides, it also includes 12 hours of one-to-one calls, regular group sessions, exclusive product leads, 10 hours of video tutorials, and so much more. So if you'd like to follow in Leighton's footsteps and have an Amazon FBA business just like this transform your life, you can book a free consultation call via the link at the top of the video description just down below. So on that call, we're going to discuss the mentorship program, what I provide in more detail, and we can see whether or not you'd be a good fit for the program. So head down below to the video description and book in your free consultation call today. And finally, make sure to like and subscribe if you found this video useful, and click up here to watch my video on my own journey with Amazon FBA from zero all the way up to £50,000 profit in a month.